Welcome into the spring sports season finale of This Week in Wyoming Cowboys Athletics here in WyomingAthletics.org and ESP Media powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griefer. Once again, we are joined by Wyoming Assistant Athletic Director Jeff King. Boss man, good to talk to you once again here. We're going to kind of put a bow on the spring sports season here today. I know some are still going as far as their postseason goes, but we're going to put a bow on the entire season in its totality and also the entire school year because obviously it was a most unique year. Let's put it that way, and I'll get your thoughts on that a little bit later on in the program. First of all, let's start off with baseball, and we talked in detail last week about what the team did in winning the CHL for the first time since 2007. Obviously, a big deal there. We also talked about the postseason draw that came out in depth on last week's program, so if folks want to hear about that, it's available in last week's show. But I do want to just kind of get your thoughts in general about looking back on this season. You had a really great team 2 years ago. A lot of guys come back here and also some newcomers come in and make some really nice contributions. When you think back on this season, which still has room to go, but nevertheless, what stood out most to you with this team and its successes? And at what point did you know in this season that you had a team that could go on and win a league title?
You know, one thing I think was just their commitment and what they did coming together as a team, missing last season completely, putting in the work in the offseason, knowing, you know, that really still starting the season, there was still some uncertainty, right, of you know, possibly canceling games and this and that going from the winter season. But they came together so well as a team in preparation, practiced so hard. And then, you know, first year head coach and coach wants, and really some of that senior leadership, you know, from Brendan Pagan, who we talked about a lot. But it's just to win this first CHL title for us since 2007, you know, that stands out big time. Knowing that we had some challenges throughout the year, especially in our non-conference schedules, but I think it'll help shape us for some really good run here in the postseason. But just the way these guys came together, winning the CHL title, I mean, that's something to really remember this season by.
I told you before we started recording, I wasn't going to ask about Brendan Pagan, so I'm glad you brought him up there.
There you
go. We talked about him in depth on more than one occasion. But you also mentioned there having a first-year head coach, and Coach Wants coming in here. In getting to work with him and also seeing how he works with the boys on the field, what stood out to you, and when did you realize as the season went along, we made the right hire here with this guy? And obviously, you know, in his first year as your head coach, he brings you a league title for the first time at school in 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he already had somewhat of a relationship being on the staff previously, so I think that helped out a lot with a lot of kids gaining trust in him and knowing that he's going to put his all into this thing. You could tell that he really did. Always wanting to get the kids out in practice, you know, whenever there's something to do with weather, whatever we, you know, other spaces that we could use to make sure these kids are getting what they need to. He was all in from the start. So, you know, you could tell early on this team, I think, could be special and hopefully win a league title and make a nice run. He's been a big part of that. And it's great to see these guys come together, like I said, the way that they have. And I think we can expect some big things in the years to come, too.
A lot of exciting talent coming back. For sure. One of them will not be Brendan Pagan as he moves on to the college ranks to play football at the next level. Let's move on and talk about your softball team here, and a really good season all the way around here, riding high into the tournament. You finished 12-2 in the league, 15-4 overall heading in. And then things just come to a screeching halt against New Richmond, and you're blown out in the tourney opener 14-0. I don't think anybody saw that result coming. For sure. I'm wondering with that, you know, in finishing 15-5 overall, so you look back and take stock of things with some young players in key positions, very, very good season overall, but I'd have to imagine this was a very bitter pill to swallow to have it come to an end like it did.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was tough. That's a really good New Richmond softball team. And we drew a tough tournament draw there, being the 5 seed and getting a 3 seed in New Richmond who's really competitive. And, you know, we watched that game. I think we made a couple of mistakes that we normally don't do going over there and playing at New Richmond. But All in all, like you said, very, very successful season. And we have a lot of great talent coming up. I know Coach Campbell is excited about that. We lose three great seniors and, Naomi Evans, Leanna Morgul, and Maggie Fitzpatrick. So obviously we're sad to see them go, but they have groomed this team very well for a lot of success to come here. So building off of that, we hope to obviously challenge Taylor Moore for the league title next year. If it comes down to that, hopefully we can put an end to their streak. But 12-2 in the CHL and 15-4 in the regular season. It's one of the better regular seasons that Wyoming softball has had in a long time. So it's definitely something to be proud of.
You look at the way, as you said, you're going to have some talent coming back here. Three sophomores I want to mention in particular. Nadine Munnicke finished the year officially fourth place in the CHL in batting average. 600 batting average on the year. No big deal. But you also have Natalie Barth and Isabella Cox coming back as your top two pitchers. Natalie Barth didn't give up a run all year long. Isabella Cox finished with an ERA of 1.31. That's a pretty good 1-2 combo for the next 2 years. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, we're super excited about both of them. So it's something where, like I said, we have a lot to build on. And when it comes to the pitching, Naomi Evans, she's groomed those two girls to really come up, and I'm sure we're going to have some others to challenge for some top spots. But we're super excited about where we are heading into the next season for that softball team.
A lot of talent coming back. Naomi Evans, great career at Wyoming High School for sure there. So yeah, she will certainly be missed there, but a really nice career she had nevertheless here. Let's switch gears and let's talk about lacrosse and the finish to the season for the girls in particular. Close out the regular season by beating ECC champion Loveland. You had to go to overtime to do it, but who cares? A win's a win. You win 14-13 there, and then take Summit behind the woodshed, beating them 17-2. So the postseason's here now. We know the draw coming out, of course, a high seed there, I believe the number 2 seed in the region. And so if things shake out and the seeds hold true, you'll get Marymount in a regional final. And obviously just played Marymount a couple of weeks ago, falling in that one 13-9. So you're right there with that team. In terms of just the overall success, if they reach the regional final, regardless of whether they play Marymount, beat them, lose, whatever the case may be, how big would that be for this program moving forward to know that they have the talent to get to what's essentially the final 8 in the state?
It would be huge. And the way that we finished the season, like you said, beating Loveland, we had to go to overtime to do it, but I think you can almost look at that as kind of an advantage going into the tournament. We had to come back in that game and fight and claw our way, to get to overtime and then take care of them in overtime says a lot about this team. We love what Coach Crawford's done with that team and prepare them and really get to where they are right now at the end of the season and winning those last 2 games in preparation for this tournament. The regular season's over now, so we got to hold true to that high seed that we got, but we're definitely excited about where we are. We're going to take it one game at a time, hopefully get to that regional final. And just so you know it, like we talk about in so many other sports, it would hold true that we would end up playing another CHL school in that final, wouldn't it? So great competition. Hopefully that could, maybe become a nice rivalry between the 2 programs, but we're super excited about where this program is.
Well, and you also have Indian Hill as the 3 seed in the region, so you would have to go through both of them to get to the Final Four potentially. There, you made the case last week for Sophia Dick being Player of the Year in the CHL, and she wound up being the scoring champ with 61 goals on the season. That's 11 more than anybody else. Megan Lyons won the assist title with 43. They're both seniors. They're out after this season. I want to talk about one of your players that will be back next year, Victoria Chesson. She finished the year 5th in the CHL in assists and also won the league title in as far as draw controls by near 2-1 margin over the second place player from Indian Hill right there. She had 120 draw controls on the year there. And you also have, of course, Ainsley Benkin in goal. She finished 2nd in saves in the CHL. And obviously with Victoria also tied for the league lead with Meredith Bornholt as far as interceptions go there. Talk to us about the depth that this team has had all year long. And like I said, we made the case for Sophia last week to be the league Player of the Year. it's not a one-trick pony with this team, though.
Right. And I think a lot of that actually comes from the senior leadership. When you look at Sophia, her sister Olivia, uh, Megan Lyons, Meredith Bornholt, they have groomed this team and the younger players very, very well to be very competitive. We look forward to Victoria next year coming up and being a leading senior on this team. And then obviously, like you said, with Ainsley being a freshman in goal, it's going to be super exciting to see what she can do as she becomes a sophomore and moves forward in her career. But there's a lot of other talent in and out of that program through the freshman and junior ranks. I think it's a program that's going to continue to build, continue to rise and be successful. And like I said, I mean, we couldn't be more excited about it. Super excited to get this postseason going on Thursday.
Over on the boys' side, not as many highlights to talk about, to say the least here. They did win 2 of their final 3 regular season games against Carroll, against Summit. But then the postseason run only lasts 1 game as Turpin ends the year beating Wyoming 15-7. So we wind up with a record of just 4-15 on the year. And so obviously not the season anybody wanted. We've talked here on the show also. You've mentioned the fact that the numbers for this team were also down this year. You also had some injuries that played a factor in as well. So we may never have fully seen this team at its full potential. But I'm wondering now how the coaches plan to go to work over the summer to get those numbers back up in totality, but also given the fact you're losing 7 seniors off this team. So they have to be replaced as well, along with trying to fill out the rest of the roster.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to look at we have a great youth program coming up as well, but we have some good young talent on that team where I think that these guys are going to be able to go out and say, look, if you want to play a spring sport and you want to be a part of a really tough, gritty team that goes out and plays their hardest every single day, that's going to be our boys lacrosse program. And I think that we can be proud of the way that they ended this season. They played super tough. They got better and played Turpin, better than they did earlier on in the year. So definitely some positive things to come out of that. It was great to see the last 2 wins over Carroll and over Summit. So it's a team with, I think, promise moving into next year. I know those kids are going to do some more recruiting to hopefully get the numbers up a little bit. And I would expect to see that program on the rise come next season.
Do you expect to pitch in that regard to try to convince maybe some football kids or cross country or whatever fall sport athletes to, hey, why not pick up a stick, give it a try?
Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll talk to it a little bit. I think especially in the summer programming, as we're going through and we're doing lifting, we're doing conditioning, there's a lot of athletic kids that aren't getting on that lacrosse field. So we definitely have the talent pool to choose from here, but it's going to have to, make sure they realize that we're looking for a new leaf going forward of a lot of success and a lot more wins in next season.
Let's switch gears onto the tennis court here, and I want to focus on one young man in particular, and Mark Keller, finishing second at the sectional. That moves him into the districts. He only had to place in the top 4 of the sectionals to move on through, but he wound up finishing runner-up in the sectionals. So he's into the districts now. That'll be going on a little bit later on this week here. Talk to us about Mark. I know we really haven't talked about him specifically. I know Thompson Blade we talked about in the past a lot, but Mark Keller getting through to the district and just his development through the year, and also the excitement level knowing that you'll have him back a year from now.
It's super exciting to know that we're going to have him back, but he's also been a player where we knew he was going to be successful. But he continued to grow and get better as the season has gone on, and to come up in that runner-up spot in the sectionals, qualify for districts there. We're really excited about to see what he can do at the district championships on Thursday. Hopefully we see him move forward, but just to get to that point, it's really exciting for him. It's exciting for the program, and it's a program with a lot of young talent, like we talked about throughout the year. So he's going to play a big role in that to grow that program for next season. I know Coach Tanner's excited about where we are with those young developing players. I think we're in a good spot there, but obviously best of luck to Mark there on Thursday. I'm super excited to see what he's been able to do.
With his development through the season, and obviously culminating with an appearance in the districts here, did it catch you or the coaches by surprise that he came on so quickly and rocketed up towards that top spot and got through?
I think we knew that he had the potential all season. It's kind of you're waiting to see, but we talk about it. You want to start peaking at the right time, and I think that he started to really catch his stride a little bit. He's playing really good tennis, and I know that he can compete with anybody he faces here come Thursday.
Would you take a point off of him if you played him?
Oh God, I don't know. I would doubt that. I think it would be tough for me to see some good returns. I'd hope to be able to hit and serve back to him, but I'd also have to be able to control that thing. So me and a tennis court, that doesn't mix. So definitely impressed with what he's able to do on that court. That's for sure.
So 6'Love, 6'Love.
I would say that would be a very safe bet.
I'm with you right there. I just wanted to make sure that Mark, if when you listen or watch this, go ahead and challenge Jeff and maybe put a bottle of Gatorade on the line if you're able to come out on top there. And I think you'll be quenching a thirst rather quickly there.
Yes.
Finally, as far as our spring sports go, we don't want to leave out track and field as they were at the CHL championships late last week. Take us through the meet there, your overall thoughts on kind of how that meet went and how you think that can project forward into the districts here going forward.
We were really excited about how the meet went. We had a lot of people do some PRs. We had, Addie Hamilton, who's a freshman, actually tied our pole vault record there. So we're super excited about what she's going to be able to do. Joel Allen on the throwing side, winning the shot put, coming in second in districts. In discus. And then Nate Glisson setting the CHL record in the 100-meter dash at 10.98. I was standing right there when he ran that thing, and man, he was flying through. Our girls 4x2 team put on a great show. Zoe Mayberry, as always, she's always competing to the top. Zoe Cook in the 100, she's been battling an injury. She actually showed up to that track meet wearing a boot, took it off, and ran a sprint. So it just shows the toughness that Zoe Cook has as a freshman. We're so excited about what she's going to be able to do. She's just that whole program with the young talent coming up, and then the senior leadership that they've had. It's been really exciting to see, as well as Yahel Slonim. Don't want to leave him off, hitting the 20 feet mark again in the long jump. We were really excited about how that meet went, and we're super excited heading into districts.
You guys got to get some kind of social media campaign going with both Zoes there as freshmen. I know obviously they spell the names differently. There's no relation there, but you've got 3 more years of them as well. I have to imagine, as much of any other sport that you have looking forward into next spring season, having those two for the next 3 years, you've got to be almost foaming at the mouth thinking what the potential is for these two in particular going forward the next 3 years. Am I wrong?
Oh, it's so exciting to see what they're going to be able to do, not only in track and field, but then, Zoe plays soccer, and then Zoe Mayberry plays volleyball. Both were contributors as varsity players, as true freshmen. So it's super exciting to see what they're going to be able to do. We couldn't be happier that they're both, wearing the Cowboy uniform. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no doubt. And they'll be making big impacts throughout all the sport, all really fall, winter, and spring if they want. They're that good of athletes. And as you said, they're only freshmen. They're only going to get better as things go along here. And with that, as we're winding down here, not only on the spring sports season, we're also putting to bed this entire athletic year, academic year, whatever you want to call it here. And so just to give Cowboys fans a little bit of a refresher as far as how this year went, take note right now. Wyoming this year, as far as the CHL goes, won league titles in football, girls volleyball, girls cross country, girls golf, I should say, and baseball, and also finished in the top 3 in the league in boys tennis, softball, boys basketball, wrestling, boys bowling, or girls bowling, I should say, boys and girls soccer, and girls tennis. It's insane how good you were all across the board. What does that mean? Another CHL all sports trophy to add to the banner there at the gymnasium there at Wyoming High School. As good of a year as you could ask for, Jeff. I'm wondering also your thoughts on the performances of everyone across the board throughout this calendar year, especially given the year that everyone had to endure. Obviously, it got easier as we went along into the winter and into the spring, but just your thoughts on how everyone in and around Wyoming athletics got through this year.
Yeah, it was a year filled with adversity from the very start, and really still with questions all the way to the point of where we are right now with everything that's going on. But I don't think that we could ask for a better year with just the turnout that we were able to have, the community support that we had, the student body support that we had, and then the things that these athletes have done throughout the season just never cease to amaze me, as well as the coaching staff. It's been super exciting to see what we've been able to do. Couldn't be more excited to kind of tie a bow on it, but obviously a lot more sports and competing to do here is this in this spring season that we're excited about. And moving forward, as we mentioned throughout this whole kind of year talking on this podcast, we have a really great foundation to keep building upon. So it's I couldn't be happier how this first year went in this role that I've had for myself, and I couldn't be more thankful to be in it for all those that contributed. So I'm just it's very nice to sit here and take it in and see all the successes that our student athletes, our coaches, our staff, and our community had this season.
Are you able to articulate how much you have learned and grown under Jan Wilking this year? And as you said, your first year in an administrative role, you couldn't ask for a better mentor in Jan Wilking to learn from and grow under as the year has gone along. And also as challenging and as a unique a year as we've had, Jan's never dealt with a year like we've had this year for sure. Can you just tell us about your personal growth and how much of a factor Jan Wilking has been a part of that?
A huge factor. We'd have to go through and schedule an entire another podcast to be able to go through everything that I could talk to that Jan's done for myself, not only in this role, but just things that I've learned in personal growth as well. It's been amazing to work underneath her and work with her with all the things that we've gone through this season and things that she's taught me that I will know and kind of build upon throughout my career here. So it's invaluable stuff that she's been able to give me and teach me, and I couldn't be more thankful to learn from Jan Wilking.
Year one being put to bed here in the next few weeks, and obviously the finale here of the podcast. What's the plan for the summertime and going into the fall so that year two for you becomes even better than year one?
Well, my plan is to be more prepared going into it. Now that I know a little bit more about things that I can kind of expect, but for the student athletes and our coaches, we're expecting to have a summer of preparation, kind of unlike any that we've had so far, because we want a lot more success. We want to be hanging that CHL all sports trophy again, but we also want a lot more league championships. We want more district championships, sectionals, regionals, and more people compete for state titles. So that's our goal, and it's going to be a summer of a lot of hard work, a lot of fun. But I know our student athletes are ready to buckle up, strap it in, and it's going to be a good one for years to come.
You don't set that bar low at Wyoming, do you?
We can't. No, I think we got to keep raising it. And one of the reasons why we got to keep raising it is because these student athletes that we have, they keep raising it. So we got to keep matching them. And we talked about them throughout the whole year. It's a special place to be. And it's also because the teams we compete against, they also keep raising it. So we got to keep matching that and being competitive. So we're excited. We're looking forward to tying a bow, obviously, on this senior season with a lot more success. But it's going to be a great fall 21 and 2022 going into it.
It's been a lot of fun talking here all year long on the podcast. I can also speak for myself and my compadres at ESP Media. We've had a blast working at Wyoming High School through all the sports we've covered for you throughout the year. We look forward to continuing that in the future. Jeff, certainly appreciate the time here today. Enjoy that a little bit of a honeymoon over the summer, by the way, as you do finally get to enjoy some of the fruits of the marriage with the bride. We congratulate you once again on that.
Thank you.
A few months into that now, and we certainly wish you the best in that perspective as well. And we'll look forward to getting it going again in the fall.
Thanks to you, Jason, and everyone else at ESP. Thanks for all you guys do, and really looking forward to the fall season.
Jeff King joining us here one final time here in the spring season to wrap up the spring season here on the season finale of This Week in Wyoming Cowboys Athletics here in WyomingAthletics.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.